case you don't know me, my name is Denzel Mensah. I'm an ENFJ. I'm also a life and personal development coach and a profiler, Myers-Briggs profiler. Today, what you're about to watch is me conducting a profiling session with a woman named Jazz. Now, I'm gonna be honest. This one was a little bit difficult, and I have no shame in saying that. You're probably gonna even notice a lot of different moments throughout the profiling session. But I ended up coming out pretty confident in what I typed her and even explaining my conclusion. And Jazz felt very comfortable with the type, even, and I tried to do the best that I could not to bias myself in a lot of different things, especially with stereotypes. And yeah, overall, this just turned out to be a very fun session. Jazz is extremely affable, and we were just able to conduct a lot of good conversation. But without saying too much, I want y'all to watch the profiling session for yourselves. If you're watching it live, like during the premiere, then Jazz should be in the live chat section. If you're watching it post premiere, well then I guess you can still watch the live chat audience. But if you're here for the premiere, just be sure to comment whatever you're thinking in the live chat if you want to engage with others that might be over there. Be respectful. Feel free to ask Jazz any questions or any follow-up questions on what you might think she might be. I nor Jazz will be telling you what her type is until the end of this video. And at the end of this video, kind of like my other profiling videos, I will state the type that I believe the Jazz is, and then you'll have to come back next week to see part two, where we will talk about why I believe Jazz is the type that she is, and I break that down in the clarification process. So without further ado, let's get started.
That's fine.
Awesome. Cool. Let me have that. Everything is set there. So the first question I'm gonna ask you is, what is something that you love to do? And when I say love to do, I mean that you love to do so much that the only reason why you stop is because you're absolutely exhausted. Otherwise, you'd go on indefinitely.
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Take-
Um, I'm really, really big into video games.
Okay.
Um, so I would, if I could have a job where I just played video games 24/7, that's probably what I would do.
Oh, interesting. What type of video games do you play?
I'm kind of all over the place. I when I was growing up, I used to play, the Call of Duty and, play with my friends on there and things like that. But now I'm more so into the single player kind of fantasy games. So Final Fantasy, God of War. Um, I'm playing Days Gone right now, so a little bit zombie and things like that. But anything that has a story to it, I'm probably into it.
That's what's up. Yeah, I respect that. Okay, cool. Is there anything that comes in as a close second?
Uh, I'm into a lot of things. I like video games. I'm really into reading. I like puzzling. Um, those are probably my big three. I probably uh, go between video games, puzzling, and reading as far
Okay,
as hobbies outside of work and things like that.
that's what's up. Got you. So when you said, "Oh man, that's a hard one," it wasn't because you were blanking. It was actually because you were bottlenecking at a lot.
Right. It's a lot. It's a lot.
That's
I, I,
okay.
I can't just choose one thing that I really, really enjoy doing. I go through, it's a cycle. It's a
Uh,
cycle. I
Look,
play video games all day, or not all day when I can. And then, once I've gotten all my video games out of the way, I'm like, all right, I really just want to sit down and read a book. I'll read, a couple of books, maybe two or three. After, when I'm waiting to receive another book or something like that, I go to puzzling, and I'll buy a bunch of puzzles and do puzzles. So
ah,
yeah.
okay, got you. All right, cool. Well, um, if I were to go to some of your friends and ask them like, all right, so I'm actually interviewing Jazz over there. She can't hear you, but what would you say are some things that you could use to describe her? Like, what would they say, whether it's
Um,
true or not?
yeah. I think they would probably definitely say that um I mean, I think they would say that I'm a pretty dependable friend as far as, if they need something, then I would probably do it. Um, I'm usually the friend that everyone kind of vents to. So if they, need something, a problem solved, or they're having issues with something, they'll usually come to me and talk about it and get ideas or advice or what have you.
Nice.
Um, they would probably say that I'm quiet until I'm not, um, depending on who I'm around. So when I'm with my friends, I'm pretty, I would say, extroverted and talkative and things of that nature. But when I get into a space that I really either don't like people or don't like who I'm around, or if I don't know someone, then they would definitely say I'm more quiet and introverted.
Mm.
Um, let's see. Yeah, I mean, they would probably, I would hope that they would say that I'm funny. but, but that, I mean, I may be biased. So
I feel like we all hope that our friends think that we're funny. I feel
right,
in more,
right.
Um, but yeah, no, I feel that. Okay, that's what's up. I definitely feel you, especially with the quiet until not.
Right, right.
It'd be like that. I don't know. Like for me, I've just always been the kind of person that's like, I don't. I can talk a lot for sure, but
Right.
only if I feel like you care about what I have to say. If I feel like you don't care about what I have to say, I'm not about to waste my energy talking. So,
Yep, yep.
obviously, like if you're with friends and everything, and you think about a lot of things, you're doing puzzles and you're reading a lot. You have a lot of things that you might want to share with the world. Uh,
Right,
again, you don't want to cast your pearls to swine. So, yeah,
right.
I see you. I see what you
I'm definitely, you hit it right on the head. Like if I'm talking and then I just get a uh-huh, okay. I'm
mean.
just like, all right, cool. Like don't even worry about it. Like
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep. Yeah.
But
Exact same. Yeah.
it's very often when like it's the other way around and someone is talking to me, like I'm like, oh really? Like I'll expand on what they're saying. I'll
Mhm.
ask follow-up questions. So that gets a little bit frustrating, but hey.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So you would say, which kind of like goes into my next question, like you're a pretty like affirming type of person.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah. How else would you describe yourself? You can use some of the things that you said your friends would say about you, or you can, add on to it, or you could even be like, they think I'm this, but I'm actually like not this. You know.
Right, right. I mean, I would say the same thing. I definitely I'm a people pleaser, um, for sure. So I uh I definitely place a lot of importance to being there for my friends and making sure if they're calling me or they're texting me saying, "Hey, I need this," I'm gonna handle it. Um, Other than that, I'm a big procrastinator, I would say. Um, so and I would describe myself as being introverted. I mean, even with my, I mean, I talk a lot, but as far as like, I just kind of like, I like the reading, I like the, that time alone and things like that. But I definitely talk, but I would label myself as an introvert rather than an extrovert.
Gotcha.
Um, Other than that, I would say I'm a hard worker for things that I like doing, but as far as like being at work, I probably get distracted a lot. I can't really focus on doing, like, I work at a desk most of the time. So
Mm.
it's kind of like 8 hours at a desk
Uh,
is terrible for me. But um, But if there's something like if I'm making something or like say for instance my puzzles and things like that, if it's a difficult puzzle, then I really like I enjoy working and getting that completed and things like that. So
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's good.
um then I would say I'm pretty laid back. I'm not I'm not too uptight, I don't think, at least.
Cool. You like those type of people.
All right.
Yeah. I was gonna ask. Oh yeah, the procrastinating. What would you say are some things that you usually like procrastinate on?
Name it. Name it. Just today I have to sign up for this interview. And
Hmm.
so my supervisor was like, "Hey, did you sign up for the interview for that training?" And I was like, nope. And then so he sent me an email, and the email was from November of 2020. So from November of 2020 to now, I have not signed up for this interview. In my defense, he said to wait after December. So this is technically after December, but yeah, I from that to adulting, um,
Mm.
if there's something like, oh, I gotta, go get my passport or something. Oh, I'll do it. And I just don't do it.
Got it. Got it.
I
Got it.
need to go to the grocery store. Won't do it.
Why do you think that is? Like, is it
I
just?
just,
Mhm.
I guess it's laziness for one. For two, I just think so much other things are so much more, I guess, exciting. Like
Mhm.
again, I'd rather be playing my video games than to, actually do adult necessary things.
Oh man, I feel that. I feel that. That's funny. Okay.
Pretty, if I'm being honest,
Hmm. Gotcha.
very, very bad with getting things in on time, homework growing up, just all that.
Got
Bad procrastinator.
Okay. Now that's fair. Um, do you mind me asking how old you are?
28.
28. Got you. Okay, cool. All right. So, next question. How would you describe your childhood? Like, how were you like as a child, as well as your upbringing, like, your family dynamics and all of that?
Yeah. So, my mom's a single mom,
Mm,
and so a lot of my time was spent kind of to myself. Just um, I read a ton when I was younger.
mm,
I played outside, rode my bike, had my imaginary friends, whatever. It was very, very my own little world kind of thing. I let my mom do her thing. She was kind of a mommy, didn't really want to rock the boat. She, her feelings kind of controlled the household. Um,
mm,
so saying for like later on, I had a stepdad that came into the picture, and then I have a little brother as well. So even when that was in the picture, my stepdad was very, very, outgoing, funny, um, very, very laid back. My mom's very uptight, I would say. She's very like, you know, don't bother her. She's doing something. Don't talk to her.
gotcha.
And definitely didn't want to rock that boat. But I mean, growing up, as far as being in school, I was not popular by any means. Very, very, uh, just to myself. I had my couple of friends and things like that, but my childhood for the most part was not very exciting or anything like that.
Got it. Okay. When you say that you weren't popular by any means, would you say like that was kind of like by choice, or that's just kind of like how the cards were dealt, or like how
Yes.
was that? And what like around what grades would you say that was?
For the most part, in elementary school, I kind of harp on elementary school. A lot of people are like elementary school doesn't matter, but like that was the best time for me as far as school went.
Mhm.
Um, but I went from one school like division to another, and then from there it was just kind of the difference of we didn't have a lot of money even when my mom and my stepdad were together. I came to school in shacks one day, and when we were in the new division, they're like what you got on, so it was kind of that situation. It was definitely a bunch of rich people, and so I was already kind of that outcast anyway.
Mm, okay.
So I mean, it definitely wasn't by choice that I didn't want to be popular, but I also didn't want to mingle with those people because I didn't like who they were, very stuck up and
Yeah,
into themselves and things of that nature. So
got you. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. If anything, those would be the types of people that we were just talking about that you probably go really quiet from.
right.
Maybe if you were around him and you said something, probably wouldn't go well.
Right. No, exactly.
Yeah,
Two different mindsets for sure.
gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah,
Um,
that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Um, how would you describe your relationship with your mother, the one that you felt like, was like uptight and everything? How did you, I know you said you didn't really like rock the boat, but like, did
right.
you like argue with her, or is it like, oh, like I understand where you're coming from? Was it kind of like both, or?
Right. So probably growing up until about um we butt heads probably all throughout, I guess, when I got a little bit older, so maybe eighth, ninth grade, throughout college. I left for college,
Mm,
and it wasn't until my junior year in college that I was like, oh, I kind of miss being at home. So, but between then, like it would be fights. We go even now, we if we get into a fight, we don't talk for a straight week.
mm,
And meanwhile, I still live with my mom and my brother.
mm,
So we're still in the house together. And if we're not talking, then we don't that's it. Like we don't look at each other, we don't talk, anything like that. But with that being said, it is a completely different relationship than it was when I was younger. It was definitely more of a resentment,
mm.
I didn't like the way she talked to me back then, things of that nature. But now it's like, there's certain things we don't talk about, but we can still have a conversation, and, we can hold a conversation. We're cool. It's no like resentment there or anything like that. I think for me, I kind of see where she was coming from, being a single mom and the pressures that was on her.
Yeah,
And so, whereas I still don't want to rock the boat, if I want to say something, I'm more likely to say something now than I would when I was growing up.
yeah,
But yeah, it wasn't until I got a little bit older that our relationship got better, because it was definitely bad for a moment.
got it. Respect. Dope. Okay. Shifting gears a little bit. How would you describe your relationship with your emotions?
Uh, no, which is bad. To be quite honest, going through college, I probably expressed my emotions through anger, because I didn't realize it was either fear or insecurities or what have you. And
Mm-hmm.
then now, because it's more out there and more accepted, you know, I'm in therapy as well, so it's kind of like, hey, look, you gotta talk about your feelings. You gotta let people know how you feel. So I'm trying to get better at it, but like I like having someone see me cry is like that is the ultimate no. Like no matter who it is, significant other, mom, friends, none of that. Um, but I mean, I have feelings. I'll write them down in my notes or whatnot, and gosh, they're cutting this grass. I don't know if you can still hear, but
No, it's all good. I can't even hear it. So,
okay, good.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'll like my notes is just full of things that I think about, things, um, random stuff pops in my head. I'll write it down and things like that. So I'll usually have a feeling, but I don't like the confrontation of bringing it up with other people, so I'll just keep it to myself. Um, but yeah, it's a very complicated relationship with my feelings.
Yeah. Okay. Got you. You said that nobody can see you cry. Why would
Heck
you
no.
say this?
Uh, I mean, I think I've placed the responsibility on myself to like be that person people can like depend on. So it's kind of like
Got it.
yeah. So it's just if everyone's gonna come to me when their problems are messed up, and then they come to me and I'm like bawling my eyes out about something, then I may not be that strong friend or whatever. And I can completely understand it's a whacked out way to think, but I'm working on it. So
Yeah. Yeah, I figured that might be it. That makes sense. Um, you also said that you keep notes on your feelings. Like, how would you describe those notes? When did you even start doing that?
um I mean that's been probably high school, college age as well. Just because you keep getting angry with people, they start not to want to be around you as much and things like that. So
Mhm.
instead of, excuse me, getting angry, I would probably just go silent, go quiet, and then kind of reflect on how I was feeling or things that I wish I could say. So a conversation, basically, it goes like a conversation that I would like to have with that person. So would say, hey, this made me angry, or this is the way that this made me feel. And I'll put like my whole conversation out in the notes.
Mhm.
But and I'm having a conversation with myself pretty much, but it gets everything that I was feeling and thinking out on paper. And 9 times out of 10, it it's out on paper. I can think about it, reflect on it. And if I really feel like I need to, actually have that conversation with that person,
Mhm.
most of the time I won't, but I can kind of, take what I wrote down in my notes and kind of like ease that in there. Or
Yeah.
if I've written it out in the notes, then it's out there. My feelings are out there and I get over it and I forget it. So it
Wow.
depends on the person.
Interesting. That's really fascinating, Jazz. Huh. Yeah, I feel like I haven't heard something like that before. That's cool though. So if I'm understanding correctly, it's like, dang, I don't want to butcher this because I'm even still processing it.
No, no
Um,
problem. No problem.
but in a way, you're like, you feel the emotion, and usually these emotions that you're writing about, I'm guessing that it's negative emotions towards
Right.
somebody else,
Right.
and are you afraid to bring up these emotions to someone because you're afraid of maybe like a disharmony or conflict, or are you afraid, like, is that what the fear
Correct.
is, or is
Yep.
there something else? Got
It's
you.
much, yeah. Because if it's positive, then I'm going to tell them, we're going to, joke about it, or, it's a good time. But as soon as feelings become negative,
Hmm.
then I don't, again, I guess from my childhood, like I don't want to rock that boat. If we're friends, I don't want to ruin a friendship. I don't want that confrontation. Um, it's just, it would, it's just, I don't want to, especially sometimes because I may not, how I'm thinking of a situation might not be, I might have perceived it wrong.
Mm,
So, you know, I might get mad about something, and instead of like saying, hey, what did you mean by that? I'll just get mad about it and then put all this stuff out in my notes. And then, you know, in the next hour, couple of hours, or maybe the next day, the person is, back to normal, or our relationship is back to normal. And I'm like, all right, maybe I just overthought that whole situation. And I'm glad that I wrote it out in my notes. So I'm not bringing something to them and they're like, what the hell? That's not what I don't know why you was thinking that or why you got
yeah,
mad about that, because that's not even how it was. So
yeah,
yeah,
got it. That's dope.
that confrontation is big.
Yeah. Did you come up with that? Like, or was that something your therapist told you to do? Or
No, that's just how I go about it. I don't that like I do not want to I don't like that confrontation. So if I can just work that out by myself, come back at a later time with
Mhm.
a clear head, then
Mhm.
I think it's good for everybody.
Got you. I respect that. I
I
respect that.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, I might have some. I might have something to say about a lot of this at the end, but I don't want to. I don't want to bias myself, so I'm trying to actually prove some things wrong, just to make sure I have the like
Yeah, no,
right type. I have a few things in mind, but yeah. Anyway, um, so kind of going down that path still. Would you say head over heart or heart over head for you?
heart overhead for sure.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely, 100%,
All right,
100%.
cool.
Now, in the
Um,
middle, oh my bad,
no,
sorry.
go ahead. Yeah, definitely let me
In
know.
the, in the middle of that, like I still might, like I might have a feeling in my heart, and I'm like, all right, this is what I want to go with, but I definitely will turn it over in my head a couple of times, and but then at the end of the day, I probably will always go back to however I'm feeling in my heart. So
Got it. Cool. And would you say that you're more in tune with other people's emotions or that you're more in tune with your own emotions? Of course, everybody has like both, but like which one would you say is like most, I guess, like apparent to you or like immediately like obvious to you?
I'm sorry, a phone call came in
Oh, yeah,
when you were talking. I don't know if I can place that on airplane mode or whatnot, but
oh, yeah, no, it's all good. You can just wait.
okay. Well, no. I'm not taking it. But you said, am I more in tune with my emotions or someone else's? And then
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, and I was saying like, everybody's like has like both to an extent. So, of course, like if you're in tune with somebody else's emotions, that doesn't make you like a better person or like that you're selfish if you're more in tune with your own. But like just like if you look at yourself honestly, like which one would you say comes more naturally to you? Um,
um I think that's a hard one just because I think I can a lot of times um guess ahead of time how someone may feel before they actually feel it or before they express it.
interest.
I can kind of like read the tone, a different tone, even like through text message. Sometimes I'm like, all right, that looks a little bit different. Then, so I say, okay, hey, you need time to yourself or what have you. But then at the same time, I think I get more complicated with my own emotions. So I don't know if I'm more in tune with the fact that I'm more confused about my own emotions than I am with other people's emotions. So that question is hard for me. I'm still trying to figure that out. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Like I do write out all of my emotions when it comes to like my notes and things like that. But like again, if I'm angry about something, I may realize it's anger, and then later on I'm like, oh no, I was just afraid of this thing that was happening. But in that present moment, it's just anger, anger, anger.
Got
So
got it.
yeah, I don't really know how to answer that one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's cool. That makes sense. Um, Yeah, yeah. I think that what I have over here is good. I'm just gonna throw out this last question to
Okay.
wrap up that section,
Okay.
um, just to see what other meat I could probably get from there. So, what would you say sounds more like you, at least to the best of your understanding? Um, Option A, where you have like, what a painter's palette is, right?
Right.
Yeah, and then it's labeled like maybe like angry, and then it has like several different shades of anger. Then there's another painter's palette where it's like sad, and then several different shades of sad. And then there's happy, several different shades of happy, stuff like that. Or painter B, who has one painter's palette and he has anger, happy, sad. You know what I mean? Like it's all just on one, but he doesn't really have like many shades. Which
Right.
one would you say that you'd probably relate to more?
Definitely the many shades for each
The many
emotion.
shapes?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Why would you say that?
Just because I mean, I just feel like there's different feelings for there's no specific one feeling for each or one. You can't box an emotion into one color or one thing. It's just
Mhm.
you know I could be extremely angry, or I can just be, oh, I'm just pissed,
Mhm.
So it's just, I think there's definitely a range of emotions between me being angry and me being sad.
Mhm.
And if I just choose, if red is just going to be angry, well, if I'm not that angry, it might be a apricot or something, So I
Yeah,
don't know.
got
Different shades for sure. Just I don't want to be boxed into that one, to just choosing one thing.
yeah, gotcha. Okay, cool, cool. All right. Now to move on, trying to see where I should go from. Okay, we'll go with this. You're doing great, by the way.
I'm trying to figure out if I'm giving too much information, talking too much, or
Nah,
not
yeah,
talking enough.
everything is cool. Everything is straight. Let me set this to. I meant to set it to gallery. There we go. Okay. So, how would you describe your relationship with your body?
Um,
Yeah.
that's that's a weird question.
Yeah,
Um,
it definitely is. I was about to elaborate, but the reason why I phrase it that way, it helps a lot with determining certain things. So,
right.
and I'll elaborate later.
So I feel like this is gonna come from a LGBT kind of point of view,
Mhm.
because I'm a skinny person. I
Mm.
think as far as my self-image goes, like I'm generally, I don't even know if this is the question or not. I, I mean, as far as like I don't know if you're asking like self-care or if I'm happy
Yeah,
with
I
it.
can elaborate, no problem. It's like, would you say that you're someone who's like tapped in to like your body, like, oh, I'm in tune with it, I can move it flexibly however I'd like, I'm pretty like athletic, I'm aware of things that like are around me, or are you someone who's like, yo, actually I'm really like spaced out, like, oh, I even forgot that I have a body, oftentimes I don't even be knowing when I'm hungry, like, yo, how did all of these cuts get here?
Yeah,
Kind of,
yeah.
yeah. And those are
Um,
like extremes, of course, but like,
right, right.
around there.
I would say, this probably doesn't help at all. I would say I'm probably somewhere in the middle. I think how I am with my body probably depends on how I am mentally at the moment. I don't
Gotcha.
know. I don't know if that helps out. So if I'm good mentally, if I'm like, you know, if I'm present in the moment, then I'm cool. Like I can be athletic. I can go out and work and get into some stuff. And I would rather be that.
Hmm.
Um, but if I'm more like tired and pretty much tired, if I'm just exhausted, then I'm like I don't care. I'm just kind of all over the place.
Got it.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
I We may have to put a star by this one. I may have to rethink or think about that one more. That was a really good question.
Yeah, no prob. No prob. Would you say that you like, well, did you ever like play sports or anything?
For sure.
Okay.
I grew up playing basketball.
Okay.
I ran some track. I'm If I could play football like as a career, I probably would. I absolutely love football.
Interesting.
Um, but we I think I was able to do it in elementary school, but then of course the money gets into it, so we weren't able to do it. But yeah, I think as I have gotten older, I know there's like teams, like all women's teams and stuff for football and things like that. I just haven't, again, procrastination. I haven't looked into it much, but I would absolutely love to do football as far as sports go, and just I love it. I love the contact sport of it.
Interesting.
So
Huh. Okay. Would you say that that would have also been something that you would have thrown into the beginning, where you're like, okay, video games, reading, and like puzzles and everything, but now it's like, oh, I would have done football as a career. Like,
yeah, yeah, I should have probably put that in there. I do love sports for sure.
got it.
For
Okay.
sure. I love watching sports. I've just gotten into baseball. Yeah, I don't really watch basketball, but I do like basketball. I like playing basketball. So, but yeah,
Nice.
sports is definitely up there.
Okay, cool. Would you say that you're like, I mean, you can brag on yourself, if you need to. Like, would you say that you're like pretty good at it? Like, oh, I'm pretty all right. Like,
Yeah,
honestly, like I'm bad, but I like it.
yeah. No. I would say I'm pretty good at football. I'm bad at basketball.
Got it. Okay.
And I'm probably pretty bad at baseball as well.
Hmm.
Uh, I like if I was doing football, I'll probably be more of a defensive player. I be just I don't know. To me, I feel like there's a lot less pressure being a defensive player, which actually makes no sense. Um, but yeah, I would I don't know. I just contradicted myself. I just because I said I would play video if I could do a career, I'd play video games. But I think I just wasn't thinking like I wasn't thinking in terms of I know I can't play football, so I wasn't saying that I would do football as a career. But if I could, then yeah, football would be up there as well.
Okay. You think that you'd pick football over video games?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
for sure.
Got you. Would you say that you're someone who's usually aware of your surroundings? Like if somebody if somebody like scratches himself or something, like you catch that, like you're usually like pretty like in the moment, um, versus are you someone who like doesn't really like catch things because you're just often louder than oftentimes?
Right.
Yeah.
So I think when I am so I work in law enforcement. So when I'm at work, I think work has taught me to be more aware of my surroundings. But if I'm out of work or like right now, I'm not on the road. I'm just doing a desk job now.
Mm,
So like if I'm out and about, then I can care less about everyone else. I'm just kind of doing my own thing.
okay.
Um, but but with that being said, I do like um, recognize if something seems off. And I don't really have a description for that, but like if I'm, in the grocery store and I'm doing my own thing, I'm in my own world, and then, if there's a, confrontation or I see like two people, it looks like maybe a dangerous situation or something like that. I see these two people and the woman looks scared or the kid looks scared or something like that. I kind of pick up on that. Um, but again, I think that's more of a work influence than anything else.
Got it. Okay. All right. All right. I had a follow-up question on that. Trying to
Yeah.
find it again. Let me reread this. Uh, Actually, I think I remember. Okay, so how would you describe, well, we'll break this one up. Would you say that you think more about the present, the future, or the past? And if actually, if you could put that in order from the what you
Ooh,
think about the most to what you think about the least, that would be dope.
I I definitely think I think about the future last,
Got you.
and then I would I would say the past first, just because I use the past to kind of deal with what I'm dealing in the present.
Hmm,
Um, but I'm not sure if that I'm not. That's another good question, man. That's a really that's a good one. Just because I do like to be in the moment, but like if someone is telling me something, I definitely would use like my past experiences. Like I remember when this happened, and because this happened, this is how I'm going to react in the present moment.
Yeah.
So again, it's one of those things that it's hard for me to say myself, just because um it's hard for me to determine, which of the two, past or present, that I think about more. But I definitely think past more so than present,
Yeah.
because even if
We
something
definitely know
happens
the
in the
future is
present.
last.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
We definitely know the future is last.
Oh,
That's
absolutely,
got
absolutely.
you.
It's bottom rung. Like
Yeah.
it just I just whatever. Like, I understand I need to plan for these things, but like, you gotta think about retirement, or like what I'm gonna do in my for work in the past couple of years. I have no idea. But when it comes to relationships, though, that's a completely different order, I would think. Like, I think as far as relationships, I
Yeah.
want to know what's going to happen in the future, so I
Yeah,
can
you know
plan.
what's gonna happen in the future, you said?
Right.
Definitely elaborate on that for me.
Just because, as far as like, I think I'm really big relationship oriented person.
Hmm.
So just to, so if I like, before, I guess, goes to that energy thing, before I invest my energy and time into someone, friends or romantic, then I kind of want to know where this is going in the future. So just for an example, like, I'm talking to someone in California. So California is very far away. So for me, I want to plan, like, okay, is this going to be a relationship? Are we talking to be in a relationship?
Right.
Because if not, then I don't want to plan. Like, should I be planning to move to California? Should I be planning to get a job? And if I need to get a job in California, do I need another degree? Like, do I need more skills?
God.
That's where that kind of comes into play. So that's for relationships. That's how I think in the future. But for like my life and every day, I'm like either past or either present, or I'm thinking about how something in my past has affected my present.
Got you. Would you say that you're good at predicting future outcomes of relationships for other people? Or
Oh, for sure.
got it? Okay.
I mean, I think that's why people kind of, my friends at least, come to me about advice in their relationships a lot of the times, because someone, a friend of mine will say, well, this is what this person said or she said or whatever. And I'm like, that sounds like this, that, or other. Like, that sounds like this is why she's saying it. This is what she hopes to get out of it by saying that. Oh, that's a manipulation right there. Watch out for that. Um, but yeah, I personally think that I can pretty much predict where a certain relationship is going to go, for sure. But I can't predict my own, though. I can't predict my own.
Got it. Okay. Hmm. Got you. All right. I'm just reassessing the notes right now to see which direction to take.
I'm all over the place. I know. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. You're actually doing great. Yeah, this is fun. All right. I want to ask you about abstract conversation. What would you say is your tolerance for it? Like when it comes to like really, I don't want to say deep, but like philosophical, conceptual, just really out there kind of like conversations. Um,
Right.
what would you say like, is your threshold for that? Like stuff that's like not tangible and verifiable, like literally,
Right.
yeah, like not.
That that's probably my ballpark. So
Mm.
like, I think my friends will probably think I'm weird because I'm into aliens and shit. And it's like, hey, you never know. But I'm very out there. I definitely invite more abstract thinking, because I think first of all, like, being so black and white is just it's boring, I don't I kind of want to think about like what if that happens? I don't know. What if that happens?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I think I would absolutely love to have even more abstract conversations than I do now. Just because it gets you thinking, and I think the what ifs are kind of like the best part, really.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel that. What would you say was the last conversation that you can remember, like just getting lost in, like losing time? Like, yo, we've been talking about this for 3 hours, like, but you were kind
I
of like
mean,
about it.
I don't get a chance with my friends. I don't get a chance to have these kind of abstract conversations like I want to.
Okay.
Um, just because I don't talk to very many people. So or at least for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or I don't know. Sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. The
No.
people that I do talk to, as far as like being on the phone, is like one of two people.
Mm-hmm.
So one person kind of doesn't have the capacity, I guess she doesn't like to really think that way. And
Mm-hmm.
then the other person, um, we do kind of get lost in conversations, but it's more so with work than it is with anything else.
Got it.
Um,
Got it.
so mostly when I try to bring up abstract conversations, they kind of get like shot down pretty quickly. Not in a bad way. It's just like, oh yeah, that would be cool. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that kind of ruined that chance to kind of broaden what that conversation could have been. Um, but I don't know. Like I'm really, at least for me, if I could have like a conversation as far as abstract conversation goes, it's just I'm really big on space. So like, what you know, if I know there's like been talk of like UFOs and government and things like that. So it's like, what why are they here? Are they friends or foes?
Mm-hmm.
Is there other universes that are out there? It's just why should we go to Mars? What's in Mars? Why haven't we gone back to the moon? Like, what do you think is on the moon?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm really that's kind of where my abstract kind of things go. Um, I'm not sure if that's actually abstract or not, but
No, yeah. Yeah, yeah, I'd say so for sure. Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like it sucks that, you know, you feel like a lot of times when you're trying to have these conversations, they get like shot down. Um,
right.
so then how like would you say like how do you compensate for that? Like, or do you just kind of be like, oh, well, in that case, I just don't really like visit that part of myself too much.
Right. Yeah. So it's definitely it just doesn't get visited too much. So but the thing is, like when I do meet someone, sometimes it's like an absolute stranger, and then they'll mention something abstract, and I'm like, yo, yeah, like that's how I think as well. But it's like such a short. First of all, they're strangers, so I don't want to be too overexcited or like in their face about something.
Hmm.
Um, but it's probably like rare glimpses of situations that I get to share with people, and then like that's pretty much it.
Hmm.
So I think I kind of just dive into documentaries and conspiracies, or look up do my own search on Google or what have you, to
Hmm.
kind of compensate for what I think about and things.
Yeah, okay. And how frequently or how long do you say that you spend going down that rabbit hole, like with the documentaries, like Google and everything? Like, is it kind of like, oh, maybe like an hour a week or 2 hours every
Yeah.
2 weeks or something, or like I go down this road like a lot, to be honest. Like, how's that?
So I think it's kind of spurts. So maybe 2 or 3 days where it's like that's what I'm looking up at night for 3, 4 hours, but then I won't come back to it for a month, if not more. So it's very, very sporadic. But
Gotcha.
but then if something like comes up and I catch on to something that piques my interest, then I'm on it for again, for a couple of days, 2, 3 days, that's the only thing I'm thinking about. And then after that, I'm like, all right, cool. And then either something else piques my interest or I'll come back to it at a later time.
Got you. Got you. Okay. Cool. All right. What would you say is something that's obvious to you, but not really obvious to other people? And then what would you say is something that's obvious to other people, but it's not usually like very like obvious to you?
Um, I think what is something that's obvious to me is like empathy.
Mm,
Uh, I I was just gonna put like a social media post up today. Like I don't understand how someone can't put themselves in someone else's shoes.
mhm,
Um, so that's a really big one. But as far as something that's probably something logical, like if it, I mean, I don't even something that is obvious to other people but not obvious to me. Um, I don't know.
hmm.
I guess I don't know until I know.
Right. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Usually you're not really aware of like what's obvious. Maybe if I put it this way, like, do you remember any situations or even like patterns where it's like, yo, like, how do people keep on like catching this, but then not me kind of thing, Like,
Oh
where,
man.
dang, like how am I always late to this? Like realizing this, but it seems like everyone else has been like, yo, duh, like Jazz, where you been
Right. I feel like that does happen a lot actually.
at?
Um, huh. It honestly probably just has to do with stuff that I don't really care about knowing. Um,
Okay. Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't it's that's not very descriptive at all, but I guess if it's something that I don't really find interesting or like again, probably something with work that which is probably important that I do know the facts about work.
Mhm.
But yeah, I probably something I just, if it's something that I'm sorry, I don't have much of a description for it.
No, you're good.
That
I was gonna actually like ask like, do you have any examples of things that you really don't care about knowing?
ah, this is gonna sound so bad. Um,
As long as you're comfortable sharing it, of course. If you don't have to,
yeah, no, I mean, I
I
don't.
won't judge you.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Uh, but no, I just if honestly, if it's not someone close to me or that I am like uh, invest a lot of time in, like if somebody's speaking out, of course I'm going to listen and things of that nature. If they're asking me for advice, but if someone is like speaking and they're doing their own thing, like I couldn't care less what they're saying. You know what I mean? They're doing their own thing, and unless I'm invited into that conversation or they're asking me something, then
Mhm,
I don't care too much.
mhm,
Um, with that being said, it's still like I'm still empathetic. So if I see something, um, someone crying or um, something like that, then I'm still may not go up to them, but I still like to myself, I'll be like, I wonder what they're crying about. They seem really down. I wonder what's going on, kind of thing. But
yeah.
I still wouldn't insert myself into that, but I would care more because obviously they're having an emotional situation that they're dealing with.
Mhm,
But for the most part, like everyday things, if I'm not really if I'm not in it, then I don't really care too much about it.
got you. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Yeah, we're circling the drain a little bit. I'm just gonna throw out like a few last ones. Um, would you say that you're more of an organized person or more of like a kind of just all over the place?
Yeah, my room looks like a tornado hit it right now. I'm not honest. Um, and that's something I wish as well. Like I wish I was more organized. I wish I could, get have my folders all nice and neat and put together, but I can try to have everything nice and neat and it lasts maybe a week and then like if that, and it's done. It's absolutely done. Or I'm like, okay, I got this new file system working. Okay,
Uh,
my letters all, and then I'll get my car and I'm like, all right, just stuff everything in A. Everything goes in A. That's it. And then I get mad at myself that I can't find something, and I've built this file, folder or whatever, and then everything's still out of place. So, but I'm very, very disorganized for sure.
gotcha. Gotcha. Cool. Yeah,
Just started using my calendar. Still.
that's interesting. Would you say so? I know that you said that you're very high on relationships. Um, would you say that you are kind of like an out of sight, out of mind type of person for the most part? Or
Yeah. In terms of relationships.
yeah, well, relationships like platonic or romantic. Well, not romantic. I feel like romantic. If anyone's an out of sight, out of mind type of person for
Right.
romantic, then
Right.
but
No,
like
no.
platonic relationships, like is it like, oh, like when I'm here with you, I'm here, I'm present, we're moving, but like unless if I'm with you, I'm not really gonna text you, check on you, like we're still cool, we'll pick up where we
Right.
left off, but I'm not really
Absolutely.
in that dynamic.
Absolutely. A lot of my friends from college, like I'm really bad at staying in touch with people and I care about them. They know like I will absolutely, if they call me up like, hey, this is what I need for those core people. And I mean, and maybe even some people that aren't in that circle, I'm there. Cool. You need it. Cool. I'll do it. But like, I haven't talked to some of my people that I would say are my best friends in
Mhm.
months,
Wow.
absolute months. Um, but the love is still there. The friendship is still there for sure.
Mhm.
And we definitely pick up where we left off.
Gotcha.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, if we could, if our only communication is like liking your picture on social media or whatever, I'm like, cool. I'm here, you're there. We understand that we're both there. We're both alive. You're alive. Cool. We're good. That's all I need.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Yeah, I understand that. That makes sense. Um, dang, what was I just supposed to say about that? Hold on, give me one moment.
No, you're good.
Oh yeah. Would you say that you're an action-oriented type of person? Like, which one do you lean more toward? Like, even though I know that you said that, you procrastinate, I feel like this might be a little bit different, but maybe it's the same thing. Are you someone who's like, oh, I see the solution or I see this, like you just kind of like jump to it? Or are you somebody who like sits back and like overthinks, and then you just might not even ever do anything and you miss a whole bunch of like opportunities? Like which one are you? We both have a pull to both, like, because I feel like everybody's an overthinker to an extent. Um,
Right.
so, but which one would you say that you lean more toward? Like, are you more prone to acting too soon, or are you more prone to acting too late?
Ooh, I that's a hard one too, just because as far as my career went, like I said, what if, and I overthought like, oh, maybe I wasn't, like maybe I don't have the skills for this, maybe, I don't have enough time or whatever. So it took me so long to get to where I'm at. And then I finally put in an interview for it and then I finally got it. But then it's a lot of times where I feel like I'm very impulsive. So I kind of
Mhm.
like definitely in my everyday life or like if someone's like, hey, we have this opportunity or whatever, instead of like kind of thinking about it, I'll just kind of jump into it and then not realize like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't for me, or
Got you.
maybe I should not have done that.
Mhm.
So I would say I'm more act too soon as far as everyday stuff goes.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. All right. Feel like I know what type you are, but I'm just trying to like make sure that I've really crossed out all the other possibilities. And I'll explain everything in my process after.
Okay.
Sure. Uh, are you doing good on time, by the way?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good to go.
Cool. Um, what would you say is something that still surprises you about people?
Hmm. Uh, I guess that again relationship based. Like, I it still surprises me that people don't treat others how they want to be treated. Um, I'm just like, why would you ever do that? You don't want that to happen to you. Like, why is that? Why did that even cross your mind?
Mm,
Um, so that's a big thing for me. Like, again, I guess again with that empathy thing, just I really don't get why people do other people wrong, and why are people mean to other people? Like, I don't get it.
yeah, yeah, same. I feel like that's what my whole YouTube channel is about. It
Yeah,
doesn't make sense.
it
Um,
doesn't.
would you say that you're good with when it comes to like aesthetics? Like, are you good at being able to like know like what's fashionable and stuff like that? Or are you someone that's like, I mean, I thought I was, but then turns out like I'm not all that kind of like good, or I need help with it.
No, I definitely think I'm more on the aesthetic side. Um, I mean, I don't think I'm creative as far as actually doing creative things, but when I see
Mm,
them, I can appreciate like, oh, that was dope. Those two colors, I wouldn't think about that. That worked well. As far as dressing, I'm really big into being fashionable and things of that nature.
mm,
I definitely like to be with not necessarily trends, but like I do like experimenting with things that may not be like I like buying stuff and being like, all right, look, I'm gonna put this shirt with these pants, put a little pop of the shoes. Like, I definitely like to work that out, and definitely big on fashion.
gotcha, gotcha. Cool. That's what's up. All right. And I think the last two questions that I might ask, let me just check some things real quick in a minute.
No worries.
How much alone time would you say that you need before you feel like a complete person?
Uh, I would say that I need quite a bit of alone time.
Mm,
So if I'm not, so say for instance, I'm off for a whole week, so 7 days,
hmm.
like a good 4 to 5 of those days, I would like to myself, and I would give 2 of those days to someone else or
Gotcha.
to do something with someone else. Um, but yeah, like I think if I did something like over the weekend, like I don't want like give me the rest of the week to kind of do my own thing kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Um, yeah, but
What are
I
you
mean,
usually doing during that, like maybe like 4 to 5 days? Like,
just I mean it doesn't it's not anything specific.
hmm.
Sorry, getting another call. Um, yeah, I think again with the people pleasing and things like that, like um whatever, like if that's video games, reading, my usual hobbies,
Hmm.
um, I would like to, I would just like to have that time to do whatever. I mean, even if it's sitting in bed for the day, like I just want to do my own thing.
Got it.
Can you still see me?
Now, as soon as you said that, that's when it went off.
Oh,
But yeah, but it's all good. I mean, like, if it's just a call, then I feel like I guess it'll pass through. We're almost done anyway, and you'll come back.
yes, I'm here.
There you are. But okay, got you. What happens if you don't get that alone time?
Definitely. So again, usually if someone, I'll just give an example
Hmm.
if that helps. So the other 2 weeks ago, like Monday and Tuesday, I had a training. Wednesday, I had a work event. Thursday, one of my friends asked to go see like an event. They got canceled, so we just sat in the car talking. Friday, I had another work event, and then Saturday, I went with that same friend I talked to on Thursday. But then there were three other people that were, one that I knew was coming and two that I didn't. So on Sunday, like I was completely done. For me, that whole week was just, it was too much for me. So for
Yeah.
Sunday, I wanted to relax, but a friend of mine ended up saying that he wanted to come over, and something that I thought was going to be an hour turned into a 4 or 5 hour situation.
Mm.
So now I'm definitely put back. So this
Yeah.
whole last week, like I didn't I didn't call anyone, I didn't text, which I don't really call people anyway, but like if
Mm.
someone didn't message me, then I kind of just cold turkey everybody. And so for me, being a people pleaser, that's hard for me, because if someone needs something, then I want to be that dependable person. But like if I'm tired, if I'm drained, I don't have anything. I'm learning like I don't have anything to give anyone. So I put caps on everything. Like after I just didn't answer a phone call. I didn't really elaborate on my text too much. It was definitely um it's definitely I just tune out pretty much.
Got you.
And
Got you.
and
Got you.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. No problem. Did you only need that one day?
Oh no,
You really
I still am feeling it, to be quite honest.
got.
Just because probably that Thursday and Friday, at least one of my friends were starting to call again, because they pretty much left me alone once they realized I was out of it for the week.
Hmm.
That Thursday and Friday they started calling a little bit more, which set me, like I was almost there, and then it was like, okay, my time away is not being, you know is being interrupted. And
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I could probably go another week not talking to anybody, but I know that's not gonna fly. So
Hmm. Hmm.
you know
Got it. Okay. Cool. All right. All right. Well, I think the last question that I might ask you, I just want to make sure it's actually the last question that I'm gonna ask you.
yeah, no,
Again, is what would you say is the biggest lesson that you had to learn the hard way?
uh that people aren't going to treat you the way you treat them.
Okay, got it. Yeah, yeah. Look. I mean, hey, if that's a repeated thing, it'd be
Yeah,
like that. I
yeah.
definitely feel you. There's no shame in that. How did that make you like learn that the hard way? Like, if you mind me asking, like, you know.
No problem. Basically in college, I was taking care of my significant other at the time, and so which basically put me in huge debt. And so, now, in that process, like I was cheated on. I came back, was cheated on again. I came back, co-signed on cars, like whole 9 yards for this person. And then we get to this, and that was a 6-year relationship. When we get here, they're
Ah,
about to get married to someone else, and I'm here trying to figure out if someone in California is going to be my girlfriend or not. So it's like
Yeah.
that's 100%, 110% for someone else, and I got absolutely nothing, zero. So now we're like, now I'm that person's supposed to be my best friend, you know what I mean? But now we're blocked on all socials, no communication, which is mutual. Like I absolutely agree with never wanting to speak with that person again, but it's definitely like a, you know, why, I did all this stuff for you. Why don't I get anything back in return? Kind of thing.
Yeah. People won't always reciprocate your energy.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Dag. Yeah, I'm really
Yeah.
sorry about that for real.
No,
But
it's all good.
it seems
It's
like
all
you've been doing all right though. Like after this whole entire session, it's like clearly you've been through a lot, but you've been smiling, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. I
You
think I
seem to
try to
like
be
have like
positive.
positive vibes and everything. Like I
Yeah, for
respect it.
sure. For sure. I just, and I think that's another thing too. Like I try to stay positive all the time, just because, at least for me, like negativity isn't going to end up well. It is going to end up well for me mentally. It's not going to end up for me helping other people.
Yeah,
Um, so I try to find the positives in everything. I know that can be toxic at times, because it's good to dwell on negative things sometimes, but for the most part, I try to be positive. It is, it is what it is. Like, just hopping back to that situation, I'm 28 and I live with my mom and my brother, and that's, for me, that sucks, but like, I know why. I know, like, my situation is because of basically giving too much. So
mm,
I'm still trying to stay positive about it. Like, hey, look, at least I have some place that I can go and I'm not struggling. Like, I do have a house that I'm able to live in and things like that. So, I could be far, far worse off, for sure.
yeah, 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 for sure. I definitely hear that. I definitely hear that. Awesome. Okay. Well, I think that I'm fairly certain on what type that you are. Um, and I feel like if anything, what we'll do is we'll go through this verification process. Anything you can clarify with me. I guess I should also ask you, like, do you already know anything about, Myers-Briggs typology and
I
everything?
know I know some of it. Again, it was one of those things I was really big into for like a week, maybe two.
Gotcha.
And I did, like, I was following some people, like I'm really bad with the cognitive functions.
Yeah.
Like, I know what they are,
Hmm.
but like, I have, like, I could be telling you something and you could be like, oh no, that's extroverted feeling, and I'm like, well, I thought that was introverted feeling. Like,
Mm,
so it's just,
gotcha.
I'm not very versed on exactly how the typing works or how to
Yeah.
figure that out, but I am very interested in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have, like, I do know the letters and things of that nature.
That's awesome. Yeah. If anything, because I was approaching this as if you like almost had no idea about it. Like, oh, that's cool. But the fact that you even at least know what a cognitive function is means that you're ahead of like 80% of people.
Right, right, right.
Because they usually just know about the letters. And then you bring up a cognitive function, and they're like, wait, what's that? You're
Yeah,
talking about that letter.
right.
So yeah, no, I totally feel you. That's what's up. Um, all right, so I I'm leaning right now toward ESFP.
So, were y'all right? Were y'all wrong? Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Be sure to tune in next week for the clarification process, where I break down why I believe that Jazz is an ESFP. And, feel free to, again, hop in the live chat, discuss amongst yourselves with me as well, and let's see why you might believe whatever you believe and why I might believe whatever I believe, and we'll go from there. But if any of you would like any profiling sessions yourselves, the description box should be able to give you directions on, how to contact me. Just hit me up at Denzel Mensah dz2blessed94@gmail.com, or dz2blessed at icloud.com. At either of those, I should be able to respond to you. You can also hit me up on Instagram or Twitter, Facebook, and just let me know. And again, the details of profiling sessions should be in the description box. But yeah, meet y'all next week.